Knotty Geeks, Knotty Geeks. It's time for some Knotty Geeks with Jeremy and Terry.
Yes.
Red light is on.
Okay.
Whoa.
And good to see you again.
Good to see you too, sir.
We'll just have a little coffee here.
Yes.
Sit together. And everybody's probably wondering what we're doing right now, but what I've done is I've brought my little Kodak ZI-8, which is a 1080p camera of the very light variety, and we're going to run that simultaneously with our regular podcast recording. And Jeremy's making the motion to show that we're podcasting at the same time.
Which presumably they can see, although my cup is probably in the way.
Well,
there we go.
It doesn't really matter. They'll have to take our word anyway if they're listening to this podcast.
If they're listening to the audio podcast. But why would they not be watching the video podcast?
Because I couldn't do it.
Oh, you can totally do it.
Well,
You've got to believe in yourself.
So far, all my attempts have fallen miserably to the wayside. And anyway, things are a lot more difficult to handle, and my respect for anybody that has a half-decent YouTube video, even lousy ones, has risen immeasurably.
Oh yeah, there is a Twitch broadcaster, goes by the name of JP, who started with StarCraft 2 in the early days of StarCraft 2, and now has moved on to just streaming games and whatnot. But he does a video podcast called Dropped Frames. And every week he does one, and all it is talking about how to do video podcasts. And I thought, well, how many weeks is he going to be able to keep this up? I mean, after a while.
Forever.
Pretty much forever.
Forever.
Is the answer to that.
I've had 3 takes on my videos so far, and I immediately tried a 2-camera setup, but they're different formats, and one shoots at 60 frames per second, the other shoots at 30, and my experiment with Blender so far hasn't allowed me to match that up.
You gushed
properly.
about Blender in the last podcast.
Well, there was an expert doing a demo.
Yes, it always looks so easy when the expert's doing it.
Well, he makes it look so easy.
Yeah, it's like, well, look.
Well, no,
and there you go.
He had me set up Blender into a video mode, and I was able to quite handily do the setup. If you can do the setup, you must be able to do the other stuff.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
My only foray into video prior to this moment has been I uploaded one YouTube video when I was at MLG Anaheim in 2011.
Yeah.
When the greatest StarCraft player of all time, Lim Yo-hwan, known as Boxer, was giving a speech about how he defeated somebody, and I videoed it, put that on YouTube. I think I got a few thousand views for that. And it was also
just because of Boxer's name.
Yeah, because of Boxer's name. And then the next time I was ever on video on the internet, I was broadcasting live from my couch using OBS, the open source broadcasting software, and a $30 HP webcam.
And a $5 green screen.
A $5 green screen. Well, about
lovingly taped together.
Yeah. Which has now been retired. It's been rolled up and it's not on the wall anymore. But that was live, so there was no need to edit, which is great. You just put the button, and now whatever you do is on the internet forever.
Well, I don't know if our vlogs will need to be edited all that much, but I would like to add in some things.
Yeah?
Like pictures of things we talk about.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Background shots.
The Loading Ready Run folks used to do an edited thing, which was like a weekly games news update. So they had the anchor desk format, it's 2 people sitting, and then when one person was talking, the other would be replaced by a graphic, and the site they were doing this stopped paying them to do it, The Escapist. So they decided, let's just do it anyway, but do it in real time, but live. So they have somebody doing it on behind the scenes, putting the graphics up and doing all the switching and the sound as they are recording. And then it was a little janky at first, but they've actually got it down pat.
Yeah.
They do it every week or every couple of weeks.
Well, once you get your technique, and once you get, like I was developing a script in my mind as I'm going along, like, remember to turn microphone on.
Yes.
Remember to
That's,
synchronize, and I was sitting there clapping, but at 60p or 60 frames per second and 30 frames per second, that didn't match up, and I couldn't grab a hold of the things to match them up. I couldn't find the frame.
yeah.
I'm not
It's
exactly
tricky.
into keyframes yet, so
Yeah.
as soon as I found that, I imagine I could do it. But in this case, I'm going to go with just the most simple, last generation
Yeah.
camera recording. Its mic is actually not that bad in my room. It's probably a little louder out here.
Yeah, a little bit.
And we're in bright sun, so there's all sorts of contrast and brightness issues.
Now, do you think, is that mic actually recording as well?
Yes, it is.
So technically, you could just take that
Yes.
and see what that's like. We also have the backup audio here
Yes.
with my iPhone.
Well, no, you'll be the podcast, no problem.
Okay,
I will be the attempted vlog,
right.
that makes this happen. And at that point in time, then we can think about the next level up, where my Canon Vixia,
Yeah.
a more a real handy cam, will come into play. And at some point in time, hoping to get 2 cameras running, both
Yes.
on much like this.
Shot, reverse shot.
Maybe if you take a picture, can you take a picture with your
I can do
phone
anything
there
with my
to
magic
show
phone.
us to show our vlog?
Yes. All right. Let me just. It's still running,
Yeah,
so I'll take a picture of.
and there you are, and there's
The
Jeremy
magical
taking a
setup.
picture of you.
It's like a selfie, but it's not. There we go.
Well,
Done.
when you think about it, when it comes up on the vlog, it will be a selfie.
Yeah.
Taking a
Okay.
picture of us. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm a lot more confident about my iPhone's multitasking than I was in the early days.
Yes.
Remember, it was always like.
oh, you had your full laptop, and we died right where we were.
Yes. The laptop was kind of cumbersome. Well, it still is. And now we can do everything off the phone, but. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to think of it too.
Yeah.
The other thing is thinking past these things. So as I say, my Canon Vixia, which is nowhere near what that camera that we listed in the last blog was, is a couple of 3-4 steps above the Kodak ZI-8, which is what he just took a picture of.
Yeah.
And of
Neat
course,
little thing.
all this is going right over everybody's heads.
Not necessarily. They may be experienced videographers.
Why would they listen to us then?
Well, yeah, they probably wouldn't. Who would listen to us?
That'd be like Stephen,
Yeah.
who pulled us out of a pile because we mentioned his book.
Stephen Palmer, author
That's
of Beautiful Intelligence. We'll
Shout
plug
out
for the
to
book.
Stephen.
We'll just put a graphic of the book so it looks like I'm holding it, right?
Yeah, you're thinking a couple years down the road.
When I watch the Game Grumps, they will often shout out to their video editor. They'll say, "Hey, Brian, put in a thing of this, or have the screen do this crazy thing, or have a sound effect of a thing with a thing coming," and then of course it happens immediately, and they pretend as if it just happened.
Right.
So if you're not listening closely, you think, "Wow, that's the most amazing video editor ever." He could just drop something in real time, but
Yeah.
of course he didn't.
Post-production.
Yeah, the magic of television.
So we're learning about this, and there goes the car.
Oh,
We're just
wow.
we're not gonna be able to edit that. So
We're learning about how cars seem to want to be very loud right next to our camera.
well, the nice thing is we chose this place because it's November
It is.
19th, 20th.
Yeah.
Checks, smartwatch.
This is-
21st of November.
This is November in Vancouver. It's a
And-
hard life.
You can sit outdoors with a light coat on.
Yeah.
I show my light coat. Jeremy shows his light coat, his
That's not
hoodie,
such a light coat.
his t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, I can show my
Uh-oh.
my Mass Effect credentials there on my.
Mass Effect. Okay.
Yes.
So we're thinking that a vlog is the next thing to do. Not so much for personality-wise or anything, but it's just 78% of the stuff that goes in your head is visual,
Yeah.
and it communicates a lot faster visually than it does through words and descriptions.
Well, it's also fun. It's just a fun thing and to learn how to do, and
Yes.
and why not?
Yes, it goes with my 3D efforts.
Yeah.
Not that I'd ever
Insert
take
a
up...
3D object going through. Just going to keep giving you things to do in post-production.
Yeah, and I'll be able to pick up on all of that, and if we keep it short.
Yeah.
But now you can see the dynamic between Jeremy and I.
Yes.
Because
in the flesh.
You're not actually here. We're talking again. I've got a huge coffee. Jeremy's got a little smaller coffee.
This is a tall, actually.
Oh, yeah?
It only looks small next to your coffee.
I need a little more to get my bulk moving.
Ooh, simultaneous drink.
Yep. So we're hamming it up for the camera.
Yeah, why not?
And I was thinking about a retrospective of why you listen to us. What are we good for? Because we're just two guys.
We're just two guys, not super famous.
Technophiles?
I'm
fairly
kind of
famous.
internet famous a little bit, or I was, when I was writing regularly for Ars Technica.
Well, you're still the guy with the market share thing that everybody can quote from.
That's true. I am cited in Wikipedia articles, but not many. Just a couple.
Well, that's good.
It's a very low level of internet fame, which is already much less famous than real famous, but whatever.
I'm cited in some academic documents as well.
Well, there you go.
I'm not going to mention where because that's for people who really
want to dig in.
Yeah, go ahead. Find out
be like the
exactly
most
what I
passionate
used to talk
Knotty
about.
Geeks fans.
Yes.
Of all time.
And there'll be a prize. Yes.
There will be a prize.
Yes.
There will be cake.
Cake, yeah. And, you know, you never know when, if you're local in Vancouver, that you can come and make a guest appearance, because we drive, we go places, we can do almost anything.
That's true.
We could do this from the top of the mountain there with a view of the city behind us, and it would still be good.
Yeah, we're totally mobile.
So,
thanks to mobile devices like your little camera.
Exactly.
And my phone.
We started out with the laptop.
Yeah.
We graduated to the iPhone. And then when you upgraded to the 6...
It became a lot more robust with the new hardware and software. I can reliably go and do something else while it's recording and not worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
So, the reason you come to us is because we sometimes say interesting things on the things that you're interested in. And because you don't want to register or you don't want to leave a comment, we pretty well just go on our merry way without actually...
Well, we have technically had 2 comments now.
Yes,
yes,
that's true.
There was Stephen Palmer, that turned into a great interview.
Which is counting very highly on the views.
The other guy, I think Ex-Radio Nut, was the guy who commented on our Sad Puppies podcast.
Sad Puppies.
Oh, those sad puppies.
Still can't get any interest up about that.
Well, it was an interesting story because it converged with science fiction, with the internet, with culture shifts, with demographic shifts, with all sorts of things, made it somewhat more interesting. Ultimately, it was just a bunch of internet trolls being annoying, but it was the reaction of the sci-fi community to that and various other things.
Very narrow range of the sci-fi community.
Very narrow range of the sci-fi community, which is also shrinking, and why is that happening? Maybe that's interesting. So there's some discussion there that was interesting at the time.
The internet can make you big.
Yes.
And nobody on the internet knows you're a dog. I saw a security photo the other day it was a photo of for a security discussion, and it had a German Shepherd looking at a laptop. And that combines the meme of nobody on the internet knows you're a dog.
Right.
It combines the watchfulness of a watchdog on a computer network. And
yeah.
My
favorite is the cat on the laptop and just going like this, just pounding the keyboard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just so funny. Well,
cat pictures.
Insert a picture of that cat GIF. Or GIF. Is it GIF or GIF? I don't know.
I just found out that PNG is pronounced ping.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that? It's always been ping. Yeah.
Sorry, didn't know?
Doesn't really matter.
I sit at home and convert things to lossy or non-lossy PNGs.
The technical minutiae of the format is more interesting to me than how to pronounce it, personally.
Well,
but you know, I'm a geek. I'm a geek.
PNG. I'm a geek who reads. It's like
Yeah.
that person who criticized me on the internet.
There's also there was a
That's a stupid thing to refer to.
there was
Well, what? You got a better one? Oh, you do. Oh, this is excellent.
yeah.
Good reference.
That referenced something that happened to Terry on the internet that has nothing to do with anything, but maybe it does.
It's an underpinning for my recovery program.
Somebody was mean to him on the internet. Let's
Yes.
not stand. No, there was a show I was watching about a guy who's an immortal, played by Ewan Griffith. It was canceled after one season. What's it called again?
200-year-old man who's a coroner.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
I
lost that
It'll
one
be in the
after a
show
couple
notes or in
episodes.
giant letters right here. So it was pretty neat. But he was on the phone talking to his adopted son, who's played by Judd Hirsch. Looks much older than he did, so there's some fun dynamics about there. And he was trying to explain to him how to use the phone and take a JPG with your phone. It was very amusing. Because, of course, everybody says JPEG, right?
I see JPEG, yes.
Yeah. See,
Okay.
on this we could find common ground. JPEG. Nobody says JPG, but the 200-year-old man did because he didn't understand technology.
Right. And you'd think that he would understand because he's lived through it.
Yeah, you think so.
Little flaw. What
Eh.
do they call those?
Inconsistencies.
There we go. An
Plot-
inconsistency.
yeah.
And they just added up. There were too many inconsistencies in
big
that
truck,
show.
big truck.
Notice my pause. Absolutely in place so I can cut it out. And I'm back. And
Nicely done.
See? Whenever there's a loud noise, we should just freeze for the video, right? And then it can be edited out.
Yeah. And we'd have to do it all the time because of the traffic. It'd get really
no,
annoying.
You know, when we hear the sound on this thing, we'll know for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I was impressed in a closed room
Oh, yeah.
because with the microphone on,
But we're in the open. It's a little farther away, maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, when I was in the room, the microphone that I had, my $12 disco microphone,
Yeah.
yeah, it sounded like there was an HVAC going right beside me, and you couldn't hear anything over anything because there's this constant roar. It was pretty bad.
Yes.
So I ditched that, and I'll just go with the device recording, sound recording capability, and that'll be good enough.
Yeah.
So how are we doing on time?
Well, we're about, as I accidentally switch out of the app, we're about 18 minutes in.
Well, we should come up with some interesting talk in the next couple of minutes that
Yeah,
doesn't
and close it out.
involve us hamming it up for the camera. That's
Yeah.
just the new
That
introduction.
will get old very quickly, but surely for the first video effort of Knotty
Well,
Geeks,
it's a test,
yeah, it's just a test.
and we've catered to it entirely too much during the podcast.
Yeah. Well,
But
what
I
else?
really have nothing interesting that's happened this week or last
No,
week.
the only interesting thing is that book I told you about. I'm reading, Castles of Steel, about the naval battles in World War I and all the things that
Wasn't that World
led up
War
to them.
II?
No, it's World War I. The biggest naval buildup ever was pre-World War I, actually.
What was the other book you were reading? Same author.
The-
Wasn't it World War I, World War II?
No, the first book that I read of his was called Dreadnought, and this was the buildup, the massive naval buildup in the late 1800s, early 1900s, of basically conventional battleships, but they were revolutionary at the time. They were called dreadnoughts,
Right.
after the very first ship that was called that, which essentially made every other ship in the Royal Navy, which had some 500 ships to its name, obsolete in one day, and it restarted the naval arms race, letting all the other countries start building dreadnoughts, and were able to catch up. The Germans built a fleet almost equal to the British, not quite, but better in terms of technology in some cases. And then they spent most of the First World War not fighting each other because each country had spent so much money on these ships that they didn't want to lose them, and they were scared. So they kind of fainted, and here and there were little conflicts of small groups, but the big, massive fleets that had only ever been built to engage the other countries' fleets never really engaged each other until Jutland, when they sent the forward battle cruiser screens that were crazy ships that were like glass cannons. They had no armor, so they could go really fast, but they put the biggest guns on them, the same guns as were on the battleships, so they could sink anything. Oh, this will be great. They're super fast. They can get in and sink the other ship and then run away and no one can catch them. The trouble with that theory is that what if you get two fleets of battlecruisers meeting each other, both screening for the other battleship fleets, and then they had no choice but to start firing, and then they'd sunk a lot of their ships. Admiral...
Hence games like Battleship.
Yes.
And games like Jutland, because that's a very famous
naval engagement.
Battle.
And historians disagree on who actually won, because Germany sunk more tons of shipping and more ships, and Britain claims that they won because the German fleet went back and never came out again in the war, the rest of the war. They switched to submarines and U-boats and whatnot, so who really won that? Yeah.
Well, better left for historians who can write 1,000-page tombs.
Sure, yeah. Well, that's what I've been into, and it's a lot of neat historical stuff that explains why we are today in the Middle East and all this other stuff that was just a side issue in World War I.
Destruction of the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, yeah.
The formation of Turkey.
Yep. A lot of things
We've
were
had
happening.
this discussion already this morning, and he's just relating about the books here because we wanted to have something interesting for you.
That is my book recommendation of the week. It's not a new book. I just wasn't aware of its existence. I didn't know there was a sequel to Dreadnought, and I love Dreadnought, so buy Steel Castles because it's awesome. Or just get it from your local library and read it like I did. It's a big book.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I've got.
Okay.
Nothing else is happening in the world of technology, I don't think.
Well, there's lots of things happening, but they're...
But nothing particularly interesting.
Not at the
moment. The new Windows phones are out. Ooh.
Windows 10
Windows
is available.
10. Ars Technica read an article saying, the new Lumias are out, but will anybody care? Question mark. Thus invoking Betteridge's law of headlines, that if you put a question mark in your headline, the answer is no. It's always no.
He's geeking way out past my level at the moment. You can see me, you can see the body language now as he gets farther away.
I consume more and more coffee. You're sedately drinking yours, and I'm just sucking this down.
Yeah.
Getting a little jittery.
Ready to go.
And then we just edit in me taking off like a rocket. You can just edit that in, right? That's no problem.
Yeah, I'll remember to save a copy of the file for when I get good.
Yeah. All right, well, that's 23 minutes. That's
okay,
pretty good
enough.
episode. It's in the can.
It's in the can.
All right.
Okay.
Done.
I'm going to get up now.
Yeah. Turn off the camera.
Turn off the camera.
All right.
You'll see the red light fade out.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's taking a picture of the chair.